All right. So it's now recording. So yeah. So as you know, I'm Phil. I go by Phil Coop Productions on the Conversation Podcast. So go ahead, introduce yourself. Who's Paris Joelle I'm talking to today?
Hello, my name is Paris Joelle, as you just announced. I am a tattoo artist from Savannah, Georgia.
It's nice. That's nice. How's your day? How night going?
It's been well. It just kind of got started my evening. I got off of work about 2 hours ago, so just was cleaning, doing some laundry, dishes, and just chilling before this podcast. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Before we get started with your questions, let's do a little bit of an icebreaker here. So
Sure.
let's see. I think I already asked this question, but let me try something very cool here. Have you tried to do any like mythical creature tattoos before?
Oh man. Besides like a phoenix, I've done a few of those. I can't remember if I've done anything more than that, at least not recently. But definitely a phoenix is one of them.
Hey, yeah, Phoenix is good. You gotta like those birds and everything. Are
Yeah.
you? Are you? Well, actually, you're a cat person, but do you like birds?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to them. I don't know if I would have them as a pet, but I enjoy listening to them in nature.
That works. That works. All right. So the way I done this, and I sent you the questions last night. There's 4 sections, 20 questions each. I forgot to add some number points to those extra questions I added in section 2, but it's okay.
Yeah,
So
no,
it's gonna be really interesting deep dive questions.
that's
So
fine with me.
hope you're ready.
Yeah.
So all right, so let's go ahead and get this underway. So section 1, origins and journey. So you grew up in South Florida, if I got this correct.
Yes, that is correct. I
So
grew up.
after being born in New York, how did those places influence your artistic identity before tattooing?
Well, I remember mostly how it influenced me growing up in South Florida. I was too young when I moved from New York. I was about 4 years old. Maybe it influenced me subconsciously by being around my peers and family at the time. But however, growing up in Florida, I've always been into art and drawing, just anything creative. I've always been into and kind of tried to dabble in.
Okay, because I know like being in like a city for like I know because you were just born in New York, so you can tell like. But I know like South Florida does have a few architectures and artistic stuff down there. Basically, like I've been in like St. Augustine, Florida, for 4 years in
Yeah.
2019 to 2023, and there was a lot of photographers in the area who were going to very different places. They have very art studios and everything. Different forests, parks, beaches. So pretty much, it was pretty much like a very grounded place for all kinds of people to do art.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, being surrounded, like your surroundings, and landscape in Florida is very influential as well. Like as far as being by the beach, that's very like tranquil and like almost refreshing to get like a new perspective on artwork when trying to go back to that. There's also Wynwood, which is a very like art district, so lots of like art murals and museums and stuff, which was influential. And then even though I know I moved from New York when I was younger, however, I do visit often, and that city, New York City, is very influential in itself. Again, with like artwork everywhere, different creative outlets. There's also musicians and theatrics and museums. So it varies.
How often do you go to New York these days now?
I try to go at least 2, 3 times a year. I'm hoping next year to stay there for a couple weeks or a couple months out of the year, and come between there, South Florida, and Savannah for work.
Okay. Because I know, like, because now you're based in Savannah, and you work in a tattoo place. I was like, I don't know, if she she does she like having free time to go travel? Would you show me that? Because like I said, when I saw that you were born in New York, I was like, maybe she goes back there a few times. I don't know how many times she goes back, so I thought I might want to ask you.
No, yeah, I definitely do go back. I actually honestly moved to New York from South Florida instead of Savannah because that was like a really great job opportunity there that I still have that exists, and which is why I want to go back and be there more long term. However, it was just a little bit more feasible to be in Savannah for like my first time moving outside of my hometown.
Okay. Okay. Number two, what drew you to tattooing as a career, and was there a defining moment when you knew this was your path, like this is what you really wanted to do?
Well, again, going back to how I've always been into art and finding those creative outlets growing up. I remember being in high school, drawing on my friends with Sharpie and stuff. And I even remember them saying like years ago, oh, you're going to be a tattoo artist. And little did I know at the time, to take it that seriously. And being in art class and stuff. And the defining moment that I've had is when I went to my first tattoo convention. So I went with my friend and her family at the time, and being in that environment, seeing the industry in a different perspective, it was like it clicked for me. And I was like, this is what I want to do. And so shortly after, I was graduating high school and I found an apprenticeship, did that for about 8 months. And I did take a year off. However, I couldn't stay away from tattooing. I was working several jobs that just never worked out, and I had to get back to it. And I'm doing it since. So it's been about 8 years.
Well, you got to start somewhere. So
Exactly.
that's start somewhere. I kind of figured, when I first met you at the festival, I was like, yeah, this is something she wanted to do.
Yeah, definitely. Something I'm very passionate about, clearly.
So, and it works. And this tattoo is an art. Don't get rid of your art, okay?
Yes, of course. It's always evolving.
So, number three, what were the early challenges of breaking into industry, and how did you overcome them?
I would say some of the early challenges would definitely be like being taken seriously, given the chance to grow into, who you can be as an artist, like who I am today, for example. It was very challenging to for other people to understand that and to respect that. And so it took a lot of dedication and sacrifice for my mentor, for example, to understand and see that. And then that's when kind of the doors started to open up. They're like, oh, this person's serious about wanting to be a tattoo artist, because some people do try it actually. And a lot of the times where they find out it's not for them, they drop it, so it's got to be some sort of mutual benefit between you and your mentor.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. One thing, when someone sees a new person, they like to see the determination in your eyes.
Yeah, that's very true. I
So,
would agree with that, even if I'm talking to someone who has determination.
hey, trust me, every person who does whatever kind of artistic career or something, they got to have some kind of determination to do it.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy thing to start out with, and it takes a lot of like sacrifice in the beginning. So as long as you hold that vision and stay true to it, it does pay off.
Definitely does pay off. And look where you at now.
Yes, exactly. I don't even know where I'd be if I didn't, get back to tattooing or even started in the first place.
Probably something still artistic, maybe painting or something.
Maybe, yeah, definitely.
But you probably already do that already. So there's
I
that.
do, do a little bit of painting. Yeah.
So there's that. I see some of your posts. I was like, yep, she already paints. So
Yeah, definitely. Are you artistic at all yourself? Do you dabble in painting or drawing or anything?
no, I don't. I'm not an artist. I suck at doing art. The only thing I can do right now is do videos and maybe do photography or something. That's
Uh-huh.
like the only thing I can do. Now, if I do decide on art, I'll have to like, I don't know. But right now I'm more usually doing videos and photography.
Okay, understandable. That's so creative.
So it hey, it's working out.
That's good. That's amazing.
Um, was there a mentor, artist, or personal experience that shaped your approach to tattooing?
As far as artists, very much so in the beginning that influenced my artwork, I would say is his name is Roy Lichtenstein. He's a pop artist. I discovered him when I went to the MoMA one time, and I just completely fell in love with his artwork. And so during that time, I was also trying to get into tattooing. So I would kind of try to mimic his style, do a little bit more neo-traditional, more pop art, more a little bit illustrative designs versus what I do now, which is realism. So there's that. And then again, going back to my apprenticeship, I did have a mentor. Shout out to Casper from Funhouse Tattoos. So he took a chance on me and again saw that determination. That's when I started learning and growing. And then there were other artists at the shop. Christian as well was a very big influence early on in my career, and they both really helped me get started and show me what it could be.
Hey, listen, every person who does like tattoo art, tattoo, like doing tattooing, doing illustration, animation, voice acting, they gotta have some kind of mentor to guide them through like how it all started for them.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like you said, everyone starts somewhere, and it's just being given the chance and being able to learn from them, from these people who are more experienced, until you're able to do it yourself and hone in on your own skills.
Definitely. You gotta walk before you can run. And
Yeah.
listen, it's okay to listen to others. Like ask questions. Like I ask my questions pretty much. Like here's the thing. Like I'm in school, but I'm in school by the way. I'm in Savannah Tech. So I'll
Okay.
be done. I'm almost done my cybersecurity. I actually got one of my certificates 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
So
congratulations.
I'm certified in PC repair and network technician.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not finished yet, but there's still more. So pretty much my teacher over there is pretty much like my mentor. He's teaching me like all the do's and don'ts. Like don't take any like rabbit holes or anything.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, you
No.
got to start from the basics and learn.
Yeah, every time after class, I stay behind and ask questions. So yes, please ask questions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Knowledge is power.
number five, and this will be the end of this section. Looking back, what's the most important lesson you've learned in those first years that still guides you today?
I would definitely say a model that I've brought on since then is don't take anything personally. Be open to criticism, be open to discouraging experiences, even, which help you learn and grow for future events. And, it could be from an artist working with a client, it could be constructive criticism from your mentor, anything. Just don't be discouraged, don't take anything seriously, and take it as an opportunity to learn and grow.
Listen, you're going to get positive of like replies and negative replies. You just
Yes.
need, then people are just telling you, what can, like, basically it's like, okay, what can I do better next time? How can I improve on this? And,
Hmm.
it's basically I've been getting some of those comments when I've been doing this whole podcast thing. Like, okay, I need to make some changes. Like, tell me what I need to fix, and I'll make it work. So I had to do my own research and know exactly what I have to improve on. So I have to work on like introducing more people, doing more lower thirds. I make it actually good, which I
Hmm.
have been doing. It's been nice. So sometimes you just have to, listen. Just like I'm saying now, it's not that hard to just hear people out
Yeah.
and understand what needs to be changed, what changes we got to make.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could start now and get better later, and that's all it's about.
So, all right, we're out of that section, so we're in section two. You'll like this section. There's a lot here, but
Sure.
so style, philosophy, and creative process. All right, now you describe your work as intuitive and see tattoos as profound symbols. What does intuitive tattooing mean to you in practice?
For me personally, being intuitive in my artwork and my practice includes connecting with the client on a physical, spiritual, emotional level. Being able to then rely on instincts to create a design that is one of a kind for them, very unique, and something that helps bring their vision to life.
Hey, that's what happened with the last tattoo I was taught to. Gotta make sure you have connections with your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very much human bonding experience. It's different from when you're focusing on paper and pencil. So you definitely are able to tap into those emotions and those responses and listen to your client and try to come up with a design that's best for them.
And
And
listen,
have
the more you can, the oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, that's okay. I was just gonna say and have communication as well.
Yeah, the more you communicate and talk to your client, the better y'all get a better understanding and understand what kind of eh, tattoo art you're trying to go for.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the main thing with all these things, I think just communication is key.
Yeah, communication is key in many aspects of life, including tattooing.
Keep doing it, Paris. You're doing great.
Thank you.
How do you approach translating clients' idea into art that also reflects your own style and vision?
Basically, well, again, listening to the client, communicating, and trying to learn what their vision is, what's going on in their head, and bring it to life and fruition. And being able to also have that trust between my client. I've been doing this for a couple years, so I do have a portfolio built up of the style that I do specialize in, and I'm always connecting with clients and asking if they've taken a look at that. They know the style that I do, and so again, having full circle of that trust of being able to have open mind to what I would create in that style.
Yeah, I think what most people do, most tattoo artists do, they want to try to take a look at the client and try to try to analyze what exactly is he looking for. What like you got to ask them, what exactly are you looking for? What specific kind of masterpiece would you like?
Yeah, absolutely. That's usually the first thing that you ask a client, and having references helps. Having them bring up some pictures and references helps to communicate and understand the client better. Or if it's even something as forward as like line work as the lettering, you can't mistake that,
You
for
know,
example.
like trying to figure out the right words. Like, how can I you know, hold on, I'm trying to think for a second.
That's okay.
Like find common ground. You just gotta find common ground in certain projects to make sure that we both like this idea, have those references. Because I know some clients will like to, well, I know some of them, they would like to do research on what exactly they're trying to get.
Yeah, absolutely. There are some who are very much more involved and do their research, whereas some clients are like, okay, like I trust you, just do something cool. And so it does vary between that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I think one thing is they have to do research, maybe talk to you, have conversations, ask questions, and then figure out what can we do about this.
Yeah, and also having an art check is very efficient as well. Whereas instead of just booking the appointment and you and the client showing up the same day to tattoo, you have an art check, which is where you view the design with the client prior to your appointment and make sure you love the design. And if not, then you make those necessary changes instead of trying to do it the day of the appointment and wasting that time. Wasting you and your client's time.
Yeah, you don't want to do stuff on the day of. Like that's like the
Yeah.
fatal flaw. Procrastination is like the fatal flaw with most of these people. Like
Yeah, definitely.
because mostly when I go to conventions, when I go to like comic conventions now, I do my research before I go to the place because I learned that the hard way last year when I went to one in Atlanta.
Okay, yeah.
I
Good
think it
easy
was I
one.
think it was I think it was MomoCon. Yeah, it was MomoCon. I learned a lesson.
Okay.
So
See?
now and ever since now I've been trying to read more.
That's good. Yeah.
So reading is fundamental.
Yes. Knowledge is power, reading, and just preparation is key as too.
Yeah. Let's see. Next one, you work across black and gray realism, fine line, and color. How do you decide which style tells a client's story?
Um, that really depends on the client. There's a few factors, right? So it depends on the client, again, asking them what they're looking for, what their preference is, and going off of that. There's also that artist recommendation where if they give you an idea and you recommend something that's best for them based off of what they're kind of looking for. So it just really does vary, and it's listening to the client, looking at the references, and relying on that gut intuition. And instinct to come up with a design for them.
I do have one question if I can ask you.
Absolutely.
Um, so when they're doing like these preferences, like before the day of, maybe let's say it's like a week before they have to come in and get a tattoo with you. Do they like send messages to you, like do like emails or anything, or like in text messages? I don't know how they usually do it. What you hit there.
Yeah, so there's some conversation between me and the client through either email or text messaging, but basically that main conversation happens in person or over the phone, like FaceTime, if they aren't local, and that's called the consultation. And so that's where you're able to then get those ideas and come up with a game plan on what to design for the client.
Okay, because I know like they would like to make sure, hey, I wish I can be there in person, but I can't make it. So I want to send you all the information I can before we get this thing underway.
Yeah, absolutely. So it does come a little bit through text messaging, or like I said, if it really comes to the nit and gritty of it, like if it's a more elaborate project, I will recommend a FaceTime call.
Okay, because I know like you're not gonna have enough time for it in person if you're busy tattooing someone else. So it's not gonna, you know,
Yeah.
that's the trick. With that's why on Friday I was like, I wanted to talk to you, but she's working. I can't, and like I said, I don't come to you guys without consent first. You
Yeah, no,
know,
that's
like 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 I was in town in Savannah looking for more people to talk to, but I realized, let me just give them a call first because I can't just walk in there. But you tell me I'm always welcome, so I'm guessing that's
you are very welcomed. The shop's a very open space and we're all very friendly. And so just like any other walk-in or anyone else trying to come in and check out the shop, like we welcome it always.
all right. Wait, when I go a place, I need to make sure I know why I'm doing it. Sometimes I don't know why I'm doing it. So
Oh,
but I think we're okay. We got good vibes here.
no, yeah, absolutely. But I feel that just having like an intention.
So yeah, I try to make sure I treat all my guests with hospitality here. That's what I learned about. I learned about hospitality and tourism in college.
Okay, there you go. Taking
So
you.
hey, college helps.
Yes, yes.
So now number 9, can you take me through a specific tattoo where the symbolism was especially meaningful and how you built the design from start to finish? This is a deep dive question.
That's kind of hard. There's so many, I am trusted a lot with a lot of meaningful tattoos throughout my career, and usually it's a memorial piece, whether it be like a pet portrait, it could be anything for someone in their family who had passed away, and so there's meaningful experiences to each their own, and they might get a tattoo to commemorate that as well. So a specific tattoo really, what really comes to my mind, I suppose, is one that I've done. There's two of them. So one that I've done for my grandmother, on my cousin. She passed away a few years ago, my grandmother, and so my cousin wanted to get a tattoo to represent her. And so we collaborated and talked about things that were important, and having like a clock in there with her time in there, her um and some angel wings to show like as if she's in heaven, and a heart as well because she loves hearts. So that was kind of how we went into designing that, was just getting all those specific elements and making sure that they were there and that they were put together very thoughtfully. Another What were you gonna say? Go for it.
Oh no, I was just paying attention.
Okay. So, and then on the other hand of meaningful is, for example, at the convention, there was actually a tattoo that I did, and it was a specific piece of artwork from an artist who had already created it. And so this client wanted it because it just was a very special moment in her life. And it ended up being a print that she found at the MoMA in New York, the Museum of Modern Art. And it just was something that really stuck with her. She loved their furniture. Like, it was a picture, it was a cover of for a business of furniture that made like all this like unique different types of furniture. And so again, it was really meaningful for her. And then it became meaningful for me as well, because I was like, wow, that's crazy. Because a defining moment in my career is when I was at the MoMA and seeing, how I mentioned earlier, Roy Lichtenstein's art, that was very meaningful for me too. So for us to be able to bond over that as client and artist was really cool.
Wow, that's a really amazing answer. I will say exactly, I I want to add to that question too, because I thought like, the way that you're telling me all this, do you ever, because I know that ever since like, with tattooing, do you feel like you're telling a story for somebody?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely play a role in helping tell a story for someone through artwork. And it's really inspiring, and being able to have that trust from a client and just see their reaction when the tattoo is done is just so meaningful.
Okay. And I do want, if you don't mind, I want to like relate some stuff because I have,
Sure.
because I've seen a lot of TV shows as well. There have been a lot of stories that people wear tattoos or wear some kind of outfits to, represent someone they admire. Let's I'm gonna turn into pop culture territory. I'm sorry if
Oh, it's
if you
okay.
don't mind.
No,
Um,
go for it.
let's take this Decker for example. The suit that he was wearing between season 7 and now the final season he's in the fourth movie, of course, he was wearing green and yellow. So after Gran Torino got injured or in season 6 by Tomohiro Shigaraki against in season 6, he gave him the cape to Izuku Midori Deku to keep fighting because now he's injured. She's basically retired. So the new suit that he's wearing was green and yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Before it was green and black. And I was like, I'm starting to understand why he painted it yellow because for this final match, he had to get a new suit because it was damaged. The new suit he's wearing, it makes him admires the people. You makes him, the people he admires the most. Gran Torino, All Might, and Gran Torino was wearing yellow, so that's why he wanted to make sure he admired him and represent him as he was fighting this last this arc.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you see where I'm going with all this,
No, yeah, I think I do. Definitely.
yeah.
You wear what inspires you. You let that show through your personality.
Yeah, I think I think that's what most people are doing these days. When my aunt passed away, some of the stuff I wore going forward, I did get I did get a few red shirts because her favorite color was red. So whether it was like like a pop culture shirt, I make sure it was red. So
Yeah.
that way I'm representing her.
Yeah, absolutely. And some people, do those type of things subconsciously too.
So I say keep doing that, Paris. I think the more of those tattoo stories you're doing, I think the better people will understand how you do things.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. It's really cool to again be able to get on a deeper level with the client and be able to bond with them and understand their story and why I'm tattooing what I'm tattooing.
Okay. And I'm about to ask you this next question relating to that. Do you see tattoos as primarily art, therapy, or something else? You probably know the answer. And how does that perspective shape your process? That's another deep dive.
All right. Well, I would definitely say it's a little bit of both. So, again, as I was referring earlier, where it's you connecting with another human, it's not just you and pen and paper that has like no emotions or anything. We're very complex beings. And so you're bound to, sometimes you're sitting with a client for hours and hours, you are bound to have some sort of communication and be able to open to one another and learn about this person. And that could be very therapeutic in that self as well. I think it's also important to talk to clients to foster a sense of trust and safety because they're in a very vulnerable position, right? And so being able to relate to your client on one-on-one level is like very beneficial.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you guys are human beings. You want to make sure we have those kind of relationships and understand each other. Because I know most tattoo artists I met, because I was at Anime Incon last year. I don't know. I don't think I saw you at that one. I don't think you went to that one.
No, I've heard of it. I've never worked it though.
Well, they're coming back next year, so didn't know if you might be interested.
I honestly really might. I think it was last April, and it was very last minute when I found out about it. And I remember being like, "Oh my god! Like I wish I knew about this, earlier on to be able to sign up for a booth."
Well, hey, you got me. May 29th to the 31st next year.
Okay, perfect. Got
So
plenty
yeah.
of time.
Yeah, I've seen people who interact with tattoo people have like very conversations about life. There was this one guy who was saying, it's not like I'm in therapy. As a matter of fact, come with me right quick. So he met, Robbie the ink guy, he was, him, Robbie the ink, with the pulling the all over his face, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
I think I know
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. He was like, hey, I need some therapy. You got some time for me? Actually, I do. See?
Yep.
Therapy. He was getting tattoos. So basically, tattooing is a form of therapy, That
It
way,
is.
be able to, tattoo artists can talk to clients can talk to tattoo artists, talk about their life experiences, how this can make us into into better versions of ourselves.
Yeah, 100%. And you really honestly be surprised how much you have in common with your clients at times. It's just, I feel very blessed to be able to have the clients that I do. And I feel like I definitely attract, like, I call them like soulmate clientele, where I just feel like there's a very great bond and it's very natural and very authentic and very easy to get along with my clients for the most part.
And you're not just tattooing, you're slowing down and understanding their each perspective or how they got to where they are today. So I think, it's okay to slow down and appreciate the path that you're on too. So I
Mhm.
understand, hey, I just wanted to have a few seconds to sit down and talk while I'm tattooing, all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
and I'm sure people who come to your shop, they want to talk to you because you're a nice lady.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. And then, it could be the other way around where I do occasionally get a client where when they are getting tattooed, because again, tattoos, they do hurt. They're unpleasant in that way. And so sometimes people just like to sit and be quiet and, kind of channel their emotions as they're trying to get tattooed, which again is like a form of therapy for themselves, the act of tattooing and getting tattooed. And then there are also artists who will, like, sit there, put full on headphones and not talk to the client at all. And I understand, because sometimes I'll put, like, one earbud in and be like, oh, music helps my process, but it varies. And I think it's almost like weird for me not to talk to a client these days. I'm like, my mind's racing a million a minute trying to, talk to a client when it's like too quiet. So
I think it just depends on the type of day you're having. Like, you feel like not don't feel
absolutely.
like music, then I would talk to client. If I do feel like music, then I'll just listen to music. Now, if you want to do both, you'll have to have one earbud out. I
Yeah.
think but I think it's nice that you have the opportunity to like get into the zone of tattooing where either way works.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it does depend on the how you're feeling, how the client's feeling, like the vibe of the day. And you could always find that between listening to music or clients or one or the other.
Okay. Okay. All right, we're getting close to this section. Man, why didn't I number these when I put them down? I'm sorry.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
So now you did mention, okay, you mentioned that tattooing is what you do for work,
Mhm.
but not your whole identity. What other passions or outlets that make up who you are as a person?
Well, tattooing is definitely a big one. I do love what I do, and it takes a lot of, like, effort and sacrifice to be able to do what I do successfully. And I'm always thinking about that, like, what's the next thing I could do? However, I do try to take that step back and realize that there's more aspects to life and things that I enjoy rather than just tattooing. And so some of the things I really do love and am passionate about is traveling. I love to travel. I love to see different cultures and get different perspectives from locals, and just hear people out and see different things and be inspired that way. Which I get to do with my job a lot, which I'm very thankful for, because I could travel and tattoo at the same time, for the most part. I also enjoy working out, eating healthy. Like, that's being active, I think, is very important to artists specifically. You're sitting for hours a day, so it's definitely important to connect with your body and mind that way. I also love to paint, so I'll do that as a creative outlet, other than tattooing, help switch it up. And that also helps with burnout too, switching mediums and being able to learn different things. With painting, I'm also able to learn new techniques and then bring that into tattooing as well, which is really cool. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I feel like I have a very much entrepreneurial mindset. And so if there's an avenue of business that I could expand on, even if it's like related to tattooing or something else, like, I am gonna do it.
Okay, okay, yeah, because I was looking through and I saw, oh, sorry, I thought someone got in my throat. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was looking at your profile, I saw that mostly it was tattoos, but then I stumbled across your personal account because I didn't know you had two accounts because I thought it was just the one. But when I looked at it, I was like, "Whoa, okay, she does modeling. I didn't know she was that person. I thought she just does tattoos." But
Yeah.
sometimes every time when I go when I go to these conventions and and I meet tattoo artists, they do like a lot of like all kinds of crazy stuff. Like either they're doing like like artwork, they're doing like not safe for work stuff and everything. It's just you just never know until you just start poking around, asking the right questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we're complex human beings, and there's so much more to us than the eye sees.
So, and yes, and guess what? And like I said before, I hope you don't mind if I just pick your brain and ask
No,
questions.
that's fine. I don't mind at all.
So because I always get curious, and I want to make sure curiosity don't kill the cat or anything. Just talk to them. It's not going to hurt you.
No, it's not at all.
So,
Definitely.
how do those other sides of you, whether it's creative projects, lifestyle, or personal growth, yes, growth, influence your tattooing?
Well, again, like I said with painting, I'm able to stumble across different techniques. I'm especially learning more about color theory, and then I'm then able to incorporate that into tattooing. Being able to exercise my mind and body, keeps me balanced and sane and able to pursue tattooing again and have that. Being able to pursue these other things gives me a break between tattooing to then have a fresh new perspective to go back to tattooing, if that makes sense.
It does. Let me try to let me try to add on to that. From
Sure.
these two questions I added, I think it's nice that you have to ask yourself. So, have I done enough in one week? Like it's okay to take a break if you're tired. Like me, I have to get up early in the morning. I have to go to class. I got two jobs. I just want to. And guess what? And guess what? Tomorrow I'm going back to Triplet Park to run.
Okay.
So, well, hey, I like nature, and I just want to get away from everything.
Yeah, that's nice. You got to listen to your body and do what's best for you. But adding on to what you were just saying, it's definitely hard to know when you've done enough. Like if you're someone who's who's not very content with things and just always wanting to learn and expand and grow in different aspects in your life, it's really hard to learn when it's acceptable to take that break and be easy on yourself mentally when it comes to that.
Yeah. And like I said in my previous one with a previous guest doing, life is about the journey, not the destination.
100%. It's not linear at all.
Yeah. And guess what? When I was downtown last Friday, I was trying to get in contact with you. I did go out for ice cream.
Okay. Where'd you go? Which ice cream spot?
I think I went to, let's see. Oh, I went to Ben and Jerry's.
Okay. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. Listen, I decided every Friday I just go out for ice cream because I just want to just enjoy like the simple aspects of life or something. So,
Absolutely. I think that's amazing. Very important to do things like that.
so yeah, don't I know like most tattoo artists like you yourself. I know like so much like social media and content can drain yourself, but do you ever take a time? And I'm asking you this because you ever take time? Like, do you go out for ice cream or anything, or like I don't know what you do?
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't say ice cream so often. I mean, I'm open to it, but that's not like what comes to my mind as far as like taking a break from something like that. I think usually being able to hang out with a friend and just kind of vibe and like put a movie on is like very therapeutic in that way. Being able to go out in nature, take a walk like at Forsyth Park is really nice to do to clear the mind. Just simple things like that, and just appreciating the moment of where you are and being present, even if it means you're not really doing anything.
And listen, there's nothing wrong no with that, And sometimes, and yeah, I might find a place. Sometimes I'll be at home and just take a nap. So I just put on some music on my Beats headphones, and then I just drift to sleep.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
That's
but with those questions, I just want to know, well, because I know still you're human at the end of the day. I know there's more to life than just tattooing for you.
of course.
I'm not
Yeah.
saying you should give it up. I'm just saying, just keep that in mind. You can still do amazing stuff. Like you doing like, you do projects, you do painting, you do like a lot of modeling and stuff. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's just nice to take a break from all that.
Yeah, it is. It's nice to dive into different aspects of your life and not just hone in on one thing.
Keep doing it, Paris.
Thank you. You too.
You know, Section 3, clients, business, and operations. We're at the halfway mark.
Okay.
So now your consultation process allows for up to an hour. What do you try to discover about someone in that time before designing their tattoo?
Well, generally, it starts with asking what they're looking for, if they have any ideas or reference photos based off the tattoo that they're looking to get. And so we'll start there. They'll show me their references, show their ideas, and I'll be able to kind of elaborate on that, see the placement that they're looking to get tattooed, and understand what's gonna like start understanding what's gonna flow best in that area when designing it. I'll take a picture of that placement as well, so I'm able to then upload it to my iPad and design it. See if they have a budget, kind of feeling out who they are as a person, what they're comfortable with, being able to explain what to expect the day of the appointment. Every artist has a different process. So, again, when it's my first time or even fifth time working with a client, I'll always be like, dress comfortably, bring some headphones, bring a blanket. Like, I want you to feel like you're at home when you're getting tattooed. And so, pretty much along the lines is just stuff like that and learning about the client, placement, and tattoo overall.
Well, hey, I know what you guys because I know you guys are a team at Nomad. Is that right? No, Nomad
Yeah,
Society.
so there's Nomad Society, which I work at, and across the street there's Riverside Tattoo. And so they're sister shops. Lauren Damon, she owns both shops.
Really?
Hmm.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so Riverside started quite a few years ago, and then I think Nomad's only been open more recently, within like 2-3 years ago. It just expanded. I think there's about 12 artists, so I guess we just needed the extra room to expand.
One thing I will say is this: when y'all have like those big teams in those studios, y'all have to know y'all strengths and weaknesses.
Oh,
Y'all have to know,
absolutely.
you got to know the pros and cons of the clients, not just yourselves, but the pros and cons of the clients. Like, how can we improve each other and make this like a really better experience for the next, client who comes in? Because you never know, it might be. Well, one, hospitality is one. You got the hospitality part down, but there's always room for improvement. You never know.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's definitely room for improvement in any area. But yeah, I think it's definitely important to be able to connect with your peers and it be an overall happy place. It's very important to have that test trial with artists when they're first starting out at a shop, and making sure it feels like the right place to be for both you, your the owner, and your peers. So
Yeah, cause one, back then really wasn't a people person. I usually just go to my room and just be done like for the day. But I am trying to talk to people around the city. It's just kind of hard to find any new people. Like most of the people I met were in college, and now we gone our separate ways. So it's kind of hard to find new people to hang out with. But the more I go into Savannah and talk to people, I guess it gets easier. Like I found you because you were at the festival, and
yeah,
I guess when I first saw you, you were very nice.
yeah, thank
So
you.
so it's just, but yeah, communication. Try to interact with as much people as you can. Know the strengths, pros, and cons. Know your personality and quirks and everything. You'll be fine.
Yeah, definitely. When you're able to connect with the artists and peers, where it's an environment where also clients walk into, then it helps make it, because that'll affect the client too, right? Whether it's a good or not so good bonding experience between you and your peers. And so if you guys are close and you have those meetings and you keep up with each other and make sure everyone's happy, then it shows.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I think that's the key in all these like these shops or tattoo or all kinds of artist industries y'all trying to take up. I think that's the key for everything.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely is. Communication, making sure the vibes are right. And, sometimes you try to force something or, and what may work for one person may not work for another. So let's say that someone came into Nomad and they're like, this isn't really the type of vibe. There's another shop down the street where it may be a completely different experience for you, and that's okay.
And listen, you guys are gonna have mishaps. You guys are gonna argue. There's always that too. You're gonna argue and get to things that y'all don't agree on. I've seen that before with some of you guys and myself when I had conversations with people. But I always say this: let's try not to take things to extreme without trying to talk it out first.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, going back to how I was saying earlier, don't take things personal, especially when it comes to your work life. Keep it at work surface level and understand things such as, and because when you take things personal, that's when things could, you could have a lot of emotions about these type of things and it'll go downhill very quickly. And that's not the case. We're all grown.
Meditate, go to your happy place.
Yeah.
It it works. I don't know, or just I don't know, just take a deep breath, count to 10.
Exactly. Things in life are usually not that serious. So,
Yeah. I know I rambled a lot for that question, but
no, no worries at all.
so I think it comes with the job. Um, what's your philosophy on handling deposits, cancellations, or no shows, and how do you balance business boundaries with compassion?
That's a hard one. I feel like I'm still kind of battling, as far as having balance between boundaries and compassion, even to this day. However, it's coming back to basics and understanding, this is a business. This is not only my client's time, but the artist, myself, and my time is valuable too. And so I think having communication with clients up front about what's to be expected when in certain circumstances, and having and being very transparent is very helpful for that. Just get that out of the way is very important. And so definitely, as far as consultations, those are free, and I have people just come in, see the vibe, see if I'm even the right artist that they want to work with. If not, I could recommend someone else, or we'll schedule that appointment. And then to schedule the appointment, we do take a deposit, and personally, I'll take $100 deposit, which comes off the total of your last session. And then as far as cancellation policy, it's 48 hours notice in advance. If it needs be, then we'll be able to reschedule. And, there's certain circumstances where I've had people reschedule like 4 times in a row. And it's like, okay, like enough is enough. So again, it's just kind of taking everything per case and going from there.
Yeah, listen, always have a cordial conversations with the rules and everything. Let me tell you something. I think when you saw me, I had so much gear on me. I
Mm-hmm.
had my GoPro camera and everything. So I was at a convention in June, and one of the voice actors didn't want to be on camera. So
Okay.
afterwards, I was like, no questions asked. If they don't want to be on camera, I'll turn the camera off.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something you got to respect how people handle their business professionally and everything. Respect boundaries and everything. They don't want to do this. I don't want to do this because the last person I talked to, who does tattoos, she was in Vancouver. She's actually at Richmond, Virginia's Anime Ink Con right now as we speak.
Oh,
So
awesome. That's another one I've heard of.
yeah, so I can listen. I can't go to any conventions right now because I'm still trying to get through school and be done. So I'm stuck here. The only thing I can do now is just stay home and do at home videos and everything, and talk to you guys. So I
Yeah.
think I think this might be much easier. And plus, I've been putting like 70 reels up on my Instagram page. So
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean,
so I didn't hear that part.
I was like, that's amazing and it works. You got to do what's best for you and what's going to work for you in your schedule.
Yeah, the only convention I can go at this point right now is Anime Week in Atlanta.
Okay.
So that's this
It's
this
better than nothing.
is this Christmas. So I might as well take it and run with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, but I'm going back to what you were saying. You want to make sure you like tell the client what the do's and don'ts are in the tattoo show because I know you guys got to have rules. Hey, life without rules is chaos.
Yes, absolutely.
So you gotta have. So I know you gotta have like, because I know you gotta have like a charter and say like, hey, you can't do this, you can't do that. I can only be comfortable doing this and everything. If I can give a little example, there was one incident. I think Stacy Tattoos. I saw her story, what was going on, and I think it was more of like a sexual harassment kind of thing, saying, like, "Hey, can
Mhm.
you Hey, this man was like, "Hey, can you tattoo my down there?"
Okay.
So, and I saw what happened. I was like, "Y'all, these guys are weird."
Yeah, adding on to that, it's very unfortunate. Tattooing, it's becoming more women-based these days. However, it started out very much male-dominated and still can be to these days. And so, being a female client and a male artist, unfortunately, sometimes it's not as professional as it should be, and it just completely ruins. It could be a great tattoo, but because of the experience, it's just like people want to get the tattoo removed, or like it's just terrible, and people should be, regardless of your gender, you should definitely be professional. Like that should be your highest priority between you and your
Yeah.
client.
Stacy was saying like, "Hey, y'all got to stop doing this. It's really hard as females working in this industry, and stuff like this happens. You know,
It is.
like, and here's the thing, like, I respect you guys because y'all do a lot of artwork, and I don't be asking much from y'all. Like, shoot, like if I came up to a person and say, let's do something that's like 18 plus or up or something. Let's trying to find a different way to deal with without doing anything that's going to be like, oh, I'm crossing the line here. Like, for example, if I come up to you, Paris, and say, hey, I want to do this kind of thing with you. What can we do about this?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on what it is, but yeah, definitely just being open with communication and being upfront and understanding, like, understanding what is wrong and what isn't. There's certain, like you said, there's certain lines that you just don't cross, and it should be common sense not to cross those lines.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just, I got you. What I was saying, I was just giving an example. I'm not saying like
Okay.
real kind of thing,
Gotcha. Just rhetorical.
Yeah, I'm just being rhetorical, not for real. So, but yeah, I don't understand, and guys these days, and me myself, I understand, like, like back in college when I was just trying to get to know people because I didn't know anybody. I was
Mhm.
just trying to connect with them. They didn't talk to me at all. They just kept going up to Title IX and just like telling me I'm a bad person. They say I'm doing this or trying too hard or something. And I'm like, why didn't y'all just talk to me instead? Like
Yeah.
this is why, to be honest, this is why I can't do a lot of stuff these days, because when stuff like that happens, I just go be alone or something, just be about my business.
Yeah, I mean, it's very unfortunate that people have that type of attitude towards you when it could have been such a lighter conversation and approached so much better, instead of just like criticizing and saying what you're doing wrong.
So all I can do is just keep trying.
Exactly. And, ignore people like that. Like, again, revolving back to don't take anything personal, just keep doing you and pushing through and holding on to that vision.
I got you. Definitely. Thank you. I feel better now.
Yeah, definitely.
So, 13. How has relocating to Savannah shaped the kind of clients you are attracting compared to South Florida?
That's actually a great question. So I feel like my style has evolved very much so since being in South Florida, for the better. And so I'm doing these days, again, a black and gray realism, which is a lot elaborate projects. And so I think starting fresh in a new city with new clientele, I have the advantage of being able to attract those clientele right away versus, for example, where I'll go back home to South Florida and a lot of my old clientele are used to me tattooing the way I used to tattoo, which I don't really resonate with anymore. And so it could be frustrating to go back there and be requested to do these tattoos that, again, like the style just doesn't resonate with me. I do try to stay a well-rounded artist and be able to do a variety of styles. However, I do wish people were more appreciative and wanting to get more black and gray realism in South Florida versus here, for example.
Okay, so overall, like South Florida wasn't really getting to understand the whole black and gray realism thing, but when you got here to Savannah, if people were trying to understand you a lot better on how the artistic stuff was going,
Yeah,
like with this certain theme.
yeah, and I think also just being an artist surrounded by other tattoo shops in a city. For here, for example, a lot of artists I've noticed do a lot of traditional tattoos as far as style goes. And so I feel like I have the advantage of being an artist that sticks out for black and gray realism, where people feel like they're able to come to me for that, where they can't go to just any other traditional shop because they don't do that style. And in South Florida, there's a million shops, and the styles are very, like, a lot of variety. Like, there's a ton of artists there, saturated with black and gray realism, color realism, traditional, fine line, whatever it is. South Florida has it.
Okay, okay. So yeah, and I know like over the years, you just you just I got tired of doing like telling my story in South Florida. I had to go somewhere where people understand my artwork better, and we chose here. Because there because one day I do notice like a lot of people, especially SCAD, since it's right down the street. Speaking of which, when I was down there, they had like a lot of students trying to get tickets for film festival. So yeah, they just want to they because you're right next to a school that appreciates artwork. So you had the chance to be like, hey, I feel like home right here. We're sitting right next to a school that appreciate like kids. These guys do all kinds of art stuff, and you're doing like your own kind of art thing with the realism in black and gray. So, because I was like, I think because when I saw some of the black and gray stuff, I was like, I think she likes the darker tones better. I mean, you know, if I'm saying that correctly, correct me if I am, if I'm not.
No, that was technically correct. Just doing like black and gray, darker realism. Because I mean, you can technically apply that phrase darker tones to color as well. But I understood what you were saying.
Okay, okay. I just want to make sure. Like I said, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, of course, I appreciate that.
So, but yeah, you just want to go with the subtle approach, if I can say that here.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, but yeah, Savannah's been a great transition. In a million years, I never thought I would move to Savannah, but it just happened to work out based on a few other things. And so I decided to choose here as my new home. And it's been really nice. And I enjoy the different factors. Moving to Savannah, it was most beneficial in my choice because of work. I did see the opportunity for work to flourish here. And so you also have, like you said, SCAD, which is very influential. I have even military clients, which is influential, and also like the tourism. So,
Hey, we got tourists like almost every day, so there's that.
yes,
So, yeah, but
exactly.
yeah, scat students, military, anybody, or independent artists or stuff who would like to talk to you and ask questions about your artwork.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's nice to, vice versa, for me to go out in the city and talk to other people or even have clients who are from SCAD, for example, and get their perspective.
Most definitely. I say keep doing that, Paris, because you never know who's going to be in town.
Yeah, exactly. I love Savannah as well because it seems like a very like cultured city. Like people from all over come here to either visit or even move here. So it's very cool. You never know who you run into.
Yeah. And to be honest, small town, but there's a lot of big buildings and cool little art stores and everything. Places I've never been to before.
Yeah.
I do want to try a toast all day. They got good food in there.
I have never tried there. I've driven by there a million times. I have no clue. There's have you heard of the Laundry Diner that just opened up?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so that's a new like breakfast place, maybe brunch as well. And that's something I want to try, for example, too. So I mean, there's so much to do in Savannah, and even after living here for almost 2 years now, I don't think I've done everything. So
Try this week when you get a chance.
yes, exactly.
So number 4, we're almost done. Then we'll be at the finale. You also do PMU, permanent makeup, like eyebrows, faux
So freckles. Yeah.
freckles. How do you balance that work alongside tattoos?
Well, if I'm being honest, this is something that, again, expanding on a different business avenue, a different career. And so I took a class and got certified to do that while I was still living in South Florida. However, I have not had the opportunity to really deep dive into that and very much grow in that part of my tattooing. So technically, it's a service that I offer and something that I am skilled to do. However, I don't really get a lot of requests for that. And I think that's because people see my work and they see me for my tattoos rather than that.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. You should to let people know what else you do. I mean, is there? I don't know if there was a way that you do it, but
Yeah, I mean, there's ways. It's just, I guess, taking action with that. And, like I said, I'm very complex. And so there's a few other things that I struggle to try to balance in my life. And so if I really wanted to, I would definitely advertise it more. I would get some more clients, maybe try to do it for free to help build my portfolio. There's different things like that that I can do to help show that this is now a service that I do offer.
Yeah, because I never see you do stuff. You just usually do tattoos.
Yes.
Like maybe one days I might have to come and check out how you do it. I don't know if wait, I don't know if that's gonna work. You got to have a client for that first.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe we can figure something out at a later date.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of for PMU specifically doing the eyebrows and the microblading, basically a lot of it is having to draw it on first with like a pencil, like a clay pencil. And so that helps map out the brows and make sure everything's measured correctly. And also mapping out like the cheeks for the freckles as well. So there's definitely a due diligent process before actually tattooing it.
I think you might be able to get more attention with that. Considering that you've been doing a lot with the content creating on social media, it is possible. I will listen. I will say that it's at least 90% possible that it will happen. No, I'm not. You know, that's still a 10% chance it might not. But I'm just saying this for my opinion. 90% chance it might happen with you doing everything that you're doing now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and again, being in a new city, you never know, there might actually be a demand for something like that here.
Hey, if I can be any of use to you, I can keep an eye out for anything. If I find anybody who might be interested, if you don't mind me doing that.
No, sure, I appreciate that. Absolutely.
Number 15, in your experience, what's the most challenging part of running the business side of a tattoo artist that clients rarely see? It's another deep dive.
Okay. There's definitely a lot to that question. I think again, trying to balance all these different parts of ourselves as an artist, you're not only trying to focus on your artwork and how to grow artistically, but you're also, social media is very big these days. It's a very useful tool in being seen by new clientele and turning them into live clients where they come into the shop, do the consultation, and book the appointments. So now having to also focus on shooting content and upload daily and be consistent with that, and just showing appearance online is very time consuming in itself as well. And then you're also answering clients, so going through emails, text, even inquiries, because I have a Google listing. So that's another thing too, is putting yourself out on Google and being versatile in how you advertise yourself, whether it's through flyers, word of mouth, Google, social media again. There's different avenues that you could chase and put yourself out there. And yeah, there's, also being able to take photos as well, and trying to take good quality photos, trying to learn that and learn different gadgets and such is also a learning curve as well. So.
Okay. Well, I was going to say, I know, I think you also take notes. I don't know if you have a journal or something, but I know you take plenty of notes somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that way you'll be able to know exactly what to prepare for the next day when something like that happens again. No, hey, listen, every time when I do something new, I make sure to take notes. I do my research. I think that's what I've been saying this whole time. Make sure you do your research on these certain things. That way you'll be prepared for what comes next.
Yeah, absolutely. Just also kind of basically just kind of taking notice of what things work and what doesn't work and applying it daily. I even use like a schedule to help block off times in my day of what I should be focusing on, instead of like thinking of everything as a whole and everything at once and getting overwhelmed. You break it down, and that helps to get these tasks done, which then go to a higher purpose.
Sweet. So yeah, that definitely helps. Usually I put all my notes in my phone here. So because thing is, if I get a journal, I'm probably gonna like lose track of it. So, and mostly since we're glued to our phones, I might as well just put it in my notes app. That way I'll have everything later.
Yeah, exactly. Taking notes helps too. Just writing down everything that's in your head instead of trying to remember it later.
Yes. And it's much easier too, because our phones with us all day. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, yeah,
absolutely.
listen, all these interview questions I do with you guys, I put them all in my notes, so I have them in front of me.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, so yeah, keep using notes. It helps.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So, All right, we're at the end here. It's been a long time, but we're at the end.
Sure.
So we almost talked for an hour.
Oh,
So
wow. It doesn't
I,
feel that way. It's been very smooth conversation. So,
so enjoying it so far.
yes, absolutely.
I always ask if they enjoy it. If it's not, then I just want to make sure if I can do better.
No, these were actually honestly so far very great and thoughtful questions. So, I definitely appreciate it. And like I said, I've been enjoying the conversation.
Thanks. Thank you,
Mhm.
Paris.
Absolutely.
So a section for reflection, representation, and future.
Hmm.
Number 16, what does a successful tattoo session look like for you beyond just the final design?
Hmm. Well, I would say again, being prepared with the client, making sure that everything's good to go the day of. That's definitely the very beginning of that. Making sure there's no last minute changes is important. And then again, just being able to sit with the client, make sure that they're comfortable, that they're able to sit for however long that they can. I think taking breaks helps for both the client and I to just kind of refresh ourselves, and being able to have that trust and safety installed with a client, being comfortable with your client as well. You know, I've had clients where I'm like, okay, like I never want to tattoo this person again just because it was an uncomfortable experience for me as well. So when you have these different factors put together, I think it makes for a successful day other than the end result of a tattoo, which I'm also proud of, you know, and consider that a success in itself.
Yeah, you gotta develop certain relationships with people because these are people who travel far and wide. Maybe just trying to look for new connections. Like every time where I go somewhere very extreme, when I go out of the state, I go to well, well now it's just, sometimes I go to Atlanta, Florida, or go to because I'm trying to go to California next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to make as many connections as possible when I go to all these big events. I tell them what I do. Can we talk about what you do? And, like with your tattooing and stuff. I want to, like this person wants to tattoo. He or she wants a tattoo from you. Can we introduce yourselves, introduce a conversation, and that way the connection runs deeper than just doing tattoos.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's
And
very
I think
important.
that's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, that's okay. I was just gonna say it's very important for that too.
Because I know, because when I went to Anime Ink Con, I made so many connections, and they checked out my page because they see I do a lot of video stuff now. After I did the Anime Ink and do like anime hot takes and everything, that's when that stoked the fire for me to start doing something like this.
That's amazing.
So it's pretty much, I think I'm almost at 21 episodes so far.
Wow,
I,
that's
I,
a
start,
lot.
I started this thing since June. I was like, it's been that fast already.
Right, you're like, where does the time go?
I was like, that was 4 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
My lord.
Time flies when you do what you love. You seem to be enjoying, you know, this process as well, this new avenue for yourself.
Yes, because like I said, I used to do the photography, but the incident in April and everything. We'll explain that at a little later,
Hmm.
later time. But yeah, I just figured out, what else can I do? Because I had to put it back on the shelf. Um, so I was like, well, let's see. In college, I did 3 documentaries. So I was like, I am good with talking to people, doing interview questions.
Yeah,
So this kind of picked up for me.
that's good.
So pretty much everything I'm doing now, especially with corporate media and anything, pretty much like, the last person said, this podcast that you're doing, independent journalism. Well, I
Hmm.
didn't think of it that way until I just started talking.
Right.
I just I was in the zone.
Hmm. That's great.
So nothing wrong with
Something
being in
just,
the. Oh, go
I just,
ahead.
I was just gonna say that some things just click, you know.
Mm. And sometimes it's good to put one thing back on shelf and start a new project. And look, there's nothing wrong with being in the zone, right? Because you're in the zone when you're tattooing.
100%. Yeah, that's where the
Hell,
magic happens.
exactly. Like, listen, sometimes when I see you guys tattoo, I was like, well, I don't want to disturb the artist at work.
Yeah, very fair, very fair. Like you said, we're in the zone.
Yeah. Uh, let's see. Next question. How do you take care of yourself creatively and physically during long tattoo days?
So I should honestly probably do better than I already do, but I think it's definitely important as an artist to, again, take those breaks. I think that's very beneficial to kind of just take a step back and give yourself a moment to relax and get a fresh look on the tattoo that you've just been staring at for hours. When you're hunched over, I think other than you could do this at the shop as well, but just daily stretching and doing yoga is very beneficial and helpful on our bodies. You know, we do a lot of strain on our bodies without even realizing it. Making sure that you're eating healthy. You know, I feel like my flaw is kind of starting my day sometimes with just nothing but 2 cups of coffee and no food, and then now halfway through the day I'm like struggling and, you know, ordering food or takeout when I could have, you know, made a meal at home, you know. So just things like that, and remembering to also take care of ourselves and be passionate, compassionate towards ourselves in that way.
Paris, there's an old saying: take care of yourself before you can take care of others.
100%. I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah. You know, like you listen, I know with me doing so many of these episodes, I'm thinking maybe I should take a 1 week hiatus from this. And I've taken a few 1 week hiatuses before because I was tired of talking.
Uh-huh.
And I just wanted to rest for a bit. I just wanted to rest from all of the speaking because I was like, I'm not, you know, I'm not invincible. So
Yeah, 100%. That's my flaw too. I'm like, I swear I'm invincible until like I'm in the same boat where I'm like, okay, like I need to take a few days off, because between what you and I do, it's also a lot of energies that you're dealing with, a lot of different people and one-on-one connections. And so you almost subconsciously absorb that. And so sometimes you do just need that time for yourself to relax and rejuvenate and kind of not have any pressure for any of that.
yeah, and listen, one episode I almost did seemed out of it, but I kept powering through. I
Yeah.
was like, I realized I hadn't rested in like a while. When was the last time I rested in a week? When was the last
Hmm.
time I did that? I
Hmm.
lost track. I lost track. I think it was like 3 weeks ago. I think yeah, three. So that was the last time I took a 1 week hiatus.
Yeah.
So, but I've just been busy because what October now, and it's almost the end of the year. I'm trying to get more people because, like I said, and back when I met you in the festival, like I was like, I need to turn my attention back to tattoo artists because I
Yeah.
haven't done one since August.
Yeah, yeah. So here you are, you know, trying to rally up some artists and do all these different um, one-on-one conversations. It's great, but yeah, it's again finding that balance between work and life, and understanding that life is not linear. You know, there's always ups and downs, and trying to figure this stuff out.
Yes. So I just gotta keep that in mind. Again, it's okay to take a break if you're tired. Don't
Yes,
work. Don't work too hard.
absolutely. You got to show yourself some grace and understanding.
Yeah. Number 18, what role do you think representation and diversity play in the tattoo industry today? And how do you contribute to that? Deep dive question.
What do you mean by diversity? Can you
You know,
elaborate?
like, huh?
I'm
What
just
you,
going to ask if you could elaborate.
oh, yeah, yes. It's like, I mean, like, like diversity, because there's been a lot of like, LGBTQ and all that stuff, black, that
Okay,
kind
so
of
like,
diversity.
okay, gotcha. And you're asking how it plays a role in tattooing?
Yes.
So I believe there's a few different factors depending on who you are and what you have to offer. So, for example, if you are someone who specializes in tattooing melanin skin, like darker skin tone, you may have a specific skill in understanding how that skin and applying color to that works more so than another artist. And so I think that helps in the industry these days. For example, being trans, LGBTQ, again, you're catering to. I'm sure you're catering to everyone, but you might be more. You might have more clientele that feels more connected with you because of that, because they're also in that same category, and so they might feel more comfortable being tattooed by you. Uh, so, I mean, it just everyone has something different to offer, and I think being able to have that option for clients, and for clients to be able to recognize that and go with whoever they want based off of that, is very beneficial. When tattooing first started out, it was very much underground, so there wasn't a lot of diversity, and so it was more seen as a thing where only circus people or bikers or sailors would only get tattooed, whereas these days it's like everyone gets tattooed, and there's something for everyone out there these days. It's becoming a lot more acceptable.
Yeah, because I don't know if you know, and let me. I think I got my thoughts now because I didn't know how I was gonna do this when I pull that question up. Because there was a lot of tattoo artists in Savannah. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I think it's like Sweet Peach because I talked to one of the tattoo artists, Tattoo Tinkerbell, like a few months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, he's saying like we always want to welcome everybody who's welcome here. It doesn't matter what you are,
Yeah.
and I don't think you guys do the same that nomad society. Just it doesn't matter who you are. You guys are in a safe space.
Yes, 100%. Definitely. It doesn't matter, male, female, like whatever the gender is and whatever culture, whatever background is, like as long as you are respectful and a nice human being and don't cause any issues, which is like mostly everyone, you are more than welcome in our shop. We're very welcoming.
Yeah, because mostly like with the way the state of country is today, there have been more like people and tattoo artists, despite all these attacks against people who are just racist and just saying, "Oh, you don't belong here, get out." I don't like all this and other stuff. It's just because I know like those shops now, especially Savannah. I've been looking at their posts saying like LGBTQ rights, it's our real rights and everything. So just like the tattoo shops in Savannah are just your way of saying you guys are in a safe space.
Yeah, no matter who you are. So being able to display LGBTQ, for example, is definitely just making sure that everyone and everything is involved and feels comfortable at their studio.
I think yeah. Sorry, my brain is getting scattered.
No, it's okay.
I'm getting flustered trying to figure out how to word this.
Okay.
Yeah, you just want to, yeah, I think more tattoo shops. We need more of that those safe spaces without any like complications.
Yeah, 100%. And sometimes it's unfortunate because you do have the occasional shop here and there where it's like going back to, for example, where you're getting tattooed by a male and it might not be a great experience because they just weren't professional. So just things like that, or shops just not being so welcoming, not having a very welcoming atmosphere almost, it could be like dark and dingy and not clean. And so those tattoo shops do exist, unfortunately, but I think as a whole, as an industry, we are straying away from those type of like old school tattoo shops, and definitely again becoming more modernized and accepting of everyone and everything these days versus where it all started.
Okay, okay. Uh, did I say the question correctly before we move on? Did I mess up?
No, I think you did great. Yeah.
Okay, just want to make sure because I was like, oh shoot, she was asking, what do you mean by that? I was like, maybe I should have added more context to that question.
No, I mean, I definitely needed a little bit more elaboration because diversity could mean a lot of things. So once you elaborated, I think we're able to now flow with the answer of that question.
All right, all right. Hey, listen, let me make sure I add some context so they don't get confused.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
So, number 19, where do you envision your art and career involving in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, I have a dream of mine has always been opening up my own studio. Moving to Savannah, like I said earlier in our conversation, it definitely was influenced by my career and ability to grow artistically and with tattooing. And so after traveling for however long that I have within the industry, I've always felt like Savannah would be a great place to open up a small studio. So I do hope to do that in the next few years. Have it be like artist gallery vibes, more fine art gallery vibes, and then also have an Airbnb attachment to it. So people could come and travel and see like the gallery, but also get tattooed if they want. So that's been something that I've always wanted to work towards. I think just also continuing growing artistically and evolving in my craft. And yeah, I guess just also elaborating on the different business avenues that I want to and seeing them come to fruition.
Another old saying: dream big, but don't dream at all.
Yeah, absolutely. You just got to go for it sometimes. Everything will work out.
If I see opportunity, I'm going to take it. Like my professor when I was at Savannah Tech, we had like some very good conversations. So
Mhm.
he was like telling me, a lot of us, in the US, we're not taking the opportunity to go out the country and go check out all the other technology jobs they have.
Mhm.
To be honest, I do want to go out for be out of the country for like at least a few years and work overseas. It's most likely Japan because I'm into all this stuff, but also Tokyo is known for having a lot of toys to play with.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's definitely a city, from what I've heard, where they are very advanced technologically. So it definitely would be like a really cool place to go and visit, and a great experience to be in a whole different, surrounded by a different culture than what you grew up used to.
Yeah. So yeah, I know like after I'm finished, it's like, well shoot, you're probably not gonna see me again for a long time.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It'll be next year. I just got my passport, I think about 2, 3 years ago, and I haven't been able to use it yet, but I'm hoping this year to. I've talked to my girls already, and we're taking a trip, hopefully towards the end of the year, like September, October-ish, and go to Europe for at least a month and just kind of country hop. So it's really cool to be able to have that opportunity as a person to be able to travel and experience something like that these days.
Well, you did say you do love traveling.
I really do. It's something I'm definitely passionate about.
I was in Mexico in July.
Oh, how was that? What part of Mexico?
Cancun.
Oh, wow. Okay. I've heard good things about that place.
Yeah, my mom had a little business trip, so she decided to bring the whole family. It was good stuff.
That's awesome. Was it a lot
We
of
have,
relaxing too?
yeah, we haven't been there in like 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Wait, no, no, wait, 9 years, 2016.
Okay.
That was
Yeah,
that
that's
was a
a long
long
time.
time.
That's a very long time. I'm sure things have changed over there since then too.
They did. They have so many new architectures and stuff that wasn't there before.
Hmm.
I tell you, when time flies, the technology evolves quickly.
Yes, absolutely.
So, wait. I just answered that question. Excuse me.
No,
I
it's
didn't
okay.
want you to see like that. So, if you could give one piece of advice to aspiring tattoo artists starting their journey now, what would it be?
I would definitely say do your research. Definitely become as involved in the industry as you can. Talk to other artists, go to shops, go to tattoo conventions, get that new perspective, and go for it. Be dedicated and go for it. If it's something that you really, really want, understand that it's going to take some time and sacrifice to be where these artists that you look up to now to be in their shoes. So as long as you love what you're doing and understand that and are able to take that risk, go for it. All gas, no brakes.
Go to conventions, ask questions. It's okay to
Yes,
ask questions.
yes, always ask questions.
Like just make sure you want to, like I said before, you want to sit down and have these conversations. Like, how can I be a tattooist like you or something? You want to make sure that you go to like these and have interactions with people because you never know who might give you some very crucial information.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very important to, because there are artists, which I'm not looking down on, but there are some who decide that it's more beneficial for them to kind of learn on their own, get a tattoo kit online and just work from home and watch these YouTube videos and start up like that. But eventually you are going to have to work in a studio. And I think it's beneficial to work in an established studio that has a good reputation and be able to learn from one another and learn these healthy habits and be able to progress more quickly that way because you have someone showing you the ropes instead of you going through all this trial and error and taking longer to learn how to do the craft. So,
Listen, yeah, tattoo is a masterpiece. You don't want to rush the whole time. Like if you're gonna rush, it's not gonna be perfect. You want to make sure you do every detail. It's like reading chapters out of a book. I got to read each chapter so I can understand what's going on.
yeah, absolutely. Because it's not just the artwork. You have to also understand you're now tattooing someone's skin. So there's also knowledge behind that and how not to damage someone's skin, or how to cross-contaminate with bloodborne pathogens, because it's like an open wound tattooing. So that's another part of tattooing that has to be taken very seriously, which some people may not, because they just don't have the knowledge of it.
Right.
So.
Well, I guess that wraps things up. Well, you heard it from Paris. Nice lady. Go check out the tattoo shop. Go ask her for a tattoo. She is booking now before she has to go out to another festival. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. Like I said, I like traveling. I love doing conventions and doing guest spots. So I'm usually all over the place.
All right. Yeah. So make sure you guys go check her out. And that wraps this thing up.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sure.